Welcome to the JUNE-gle. We got fun and games. We got everything you want. Honey, we know the names. And the name is community. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Welcome, friends. We have officially entered the 6th month of the year, which means 2026 is halfway over. Or is it just the beginning of the second act? And we all know that the second act is always where things really get very juicy, very interesting. And astrologically speaking, these next few weeks ahead, as we roll into summer, are some of the most powerful, most important, most significant. And as I have been saying since the beginning of the year, it is really in the second half of this year that things are going to start to pop off. So now that we are entering that territory, let's talk about what it means for you, okay? The tea is that this isn't just your weekly brew. No. I'm giving you the whole kettle. This is the tea for the whole damn month. So let's get into it. AstroloTea is definitely served. Hello, and welcome to AstroloTea with Aliza Kelly. I'm your host and your spiritual friend, Aliza Kelly, and I am so happy that you are here. This is your weekly brew. I serve it hot and fresh every single Monday. The theme of the week is Enter the Portal. Welcome to the JUNE-gle. And the top 3 things to know are, number 1, June changes everything. We are crossing into the second half of the year, and this month is a setup for the major pivots that are about to happen in your life. Number 2, it's a week where you're really going to need to speak from the heart. Mercury is moving into Cancer and then immediately squaring Neptune. So emotions are going to be louder, intuition is going to be stronger, and communication is also going to get a little more sensy. And number 3, trust me when I say that you really are making progress. This week, the sun is going to be smooching Saturn, the planet of responsibility, and that's going to be offering some structure, maturity, and momentum to your life, but only if you commit. Welcome, Gorgina friends, to a brand new week, to a brand new month, to a brand new you. Sure, why not? It is still Gemini season after all. We are in mutable territory, which means that things are changing. If you are new here, I have some piping hot info for you. I don't just serve tea on Mondays. I also serve on Wednesdays. Mondays, of course, I have your horoscope. I get you set up for the week ahead. But on Wednesdays, we have a whole tea party. And this is where we deep dive into astrology and bring it all to life. All episodes are available via audio or video, wherever you get your podcasts, as well as on YouTube under my channel, Aliza Kelly. So be sure to follow, subscribe, do the whole thing, okay? Also, a reminder, I am hosting a coven meeting in the Constellation Club for the blue moon, the full moon in Sagittarius tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. Yes, divas, Monday, June 1st, we are going to be gathering to work with this magical lunation. I have some amazing manifestations planned, and I cannot wait to get to know you. I cannot wait to get to know your chart. I can't wait until you meet all of our friends in the coven. You're gonna love it. So head on over to constellation-club.com to RSVP. You're not gonna wanna miss it. Before we dive in, as always, I just wanna say thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting this brand new independent podcast in its earliest days, in its infancy. I would so appreciate if you could take a moment to give us that 5-star rating. Nothing else will do. Write a review, and then of course follow, subscribe to the show, and tell your friends. Your support is everything and means so much and really helps us build this out and create this magical astrology universe. And I'm just so grateful to be here with you week after week, and hopefully you're loving all of it too. Stay tuned. We'll be back after a tiny little break. Welcome, my beautiful community, to AstroloTea and to your Monday weekly brew. It's me, as you know, Aliza Kelly, your host, your spiritual friend, and also a big secret Guns N' Roses fanatic. Is it a secret? I don't know. Am I a fanatic? Also not sure, but I do love that Axl Rose is an Aquarius. I also love that Slash is a Leo. I love that they are on the Leo and Aquarius axis. That is such tea. And it is indeed the JUNE-gle. So welcome to the JUNE-gle, honey. Don't you just j'adore when the first day of a new month falls on a Monday. My little Virgo Mercury and Virgo Mars brain just delights in it. I also like when it falls on a Sunday, and then you can look at the whole calendar and it's like clean across the whole month. But Monday works for me. Monday works too, okay? It's giving productivity. Anyway, comment if you feel me and let me know that I am not alone in having visual OCD like that. No. I cannot be alone. We are never alone. We always have our community. And of course, if you want more community, I would love to see you tonight in the Constellation Club, which is the virtual community that I founded way back in 2019, Ancient History Divas. But I'm hosting a coven meeting in the Constellation Club tonight. That's Monday, June 1st at 8 p.m. Eastern. And if you're nasty, RSVP right now, head on over to constellation-club.com. We are going to be really setting ourselves up for success as we come into this gorgeous new month, this month of June. And we're going to release all of that built up energy from this blue moon, full moon in Sagittarius. So check it out, constellation-club.com. I'll see you soon. Okay, my gorgeous friends, let us talk about what is happening this week. But really, this is a little taste of what is to come in the month of June. I actually genuinely believe that this is one of the most important turning point months of the entire year. We are crossing a threshold. We are entering a portal. We are entering the JUNE-gle. And by now, you should know that astrology moves in chapters. Astrology moves in seasons. Astrology works by exploring how these ongoing narratives expand and contract through time. They build, we see them grow, then we watch them plateau, maybe they dip down, but ultimately, it's all the cycles, right? Astrology is the study of time, and it's the study of cycles. And coming into this new month, we are not just ending cycles. We are also entering new cycles, big new cycles that are going to carry us through the rest of the year and beyond, into years that extend beyond 2026. I invite you right now to pause for a moment and ask yourself, what has changed in your life since January, since 2026 started? What did you think was going to happen this year? What has actually happened? What surprised you? What disappointed you? What challenged you? Because if the first half of the year has felt a little weird, just know that you are not alone. So many of us have been navigating this period of calibration and recalibration in all aspects of our life. We are sort of straddling endings without clear beginnings. We are experiencing these paramount, cataclysmic identity shifts without really knowing who we are about to become. And we have been going through so many emotional up and downs. It's been a true roller coaster for so many of us. It's hard to be in this liminal space, and it's hard to be in this liminal space for such an extended amount of time. If we think of the last 6 months as these months where we were supposed to have everything figured out, as these like formalized moments in time for understanding our career and our identity and our trajectory, we are doing them a disservice. Because the reality is that those 6 months, January up until right now, have really been testing the waters. They have been a time designated for recalibration. Because as these massive planets move into new zodiac signs and end these very long-standing cycles that have existed in our life for years and in some cases decades, we have a lot to figure out as we adjust to this new world, this new way of living. It's a new world externally. It's a new world internally. And obviously, even as we approach this with an open mind and open arms and we're staying flexible, we also are clinging to what we knew, right? Like we are trying to hold on to wherever comfort and stability has been, even as we acknowledge that some of those things have not been serving us and we've outgrown them. And in the places where we have let go, many of us are kind of just like free falling right now, right? We don't know if there's going to be a soft landing. We don't even know if we have a fucking parachute at all. And this has been really a time defined by surrender, by letting go. that motion is to be expected in a year like this. So as we get into the second half of the year, it's not that the portal is closing. It's not that anything is being redefined as like now your fate is sealed and it's done. It's more that we are getting familiar with this road ahead. We're getting sort of comfortable with where we are in space and time, more comfortable, right? Be gentle still. And we also are going to have a little more support as we step forward, because the planets that have shifted are going to start working together in a very copacetic sort of way. And when I'm talking about the big planets that have shifted, I'm talking about Neptune having moved into Aries. I'm talking about Saturn having moved into Aries. I'm talking about Uranus having just moved into Gemini. This month, we're going to have Chiron. We're going to have Jupiter. We're going to have the nodes in July. There's a lot of change that is coming up, but most of these planets, the vast majority of them, are going to start linking up this month and in July to give us more support and more encouragement. And maybe it's that we have needed those planets to really be able to hold each other's hands and give each other a little boost, right? For some reason, I keep thinking of like those pyramids, those human pyramids people make on the beach when it comes to like the months of June and July. That's just going on in my psyche. But maybe that's what we've been waiting for. Maybe we've been waiting for like the ultimate planet pyramid to help us get to where we need to go. Okay, so back to the week ahead. On Monday morning, which if you're listening to this on the day this comes out, it's today, Mercury is moving into the sign of Cancer. Mercury, as you know, is the planet of communication and information and technology and conversations and contracts and our cognition, our beautiful little brains. And Cancer is the first water sign of the zodiac. So whenever we're dealing with first sign energy, and that applies to Aries, first fire, Taurus, first earth, Gemini, first air, and Cancer, first water, we are interacting with that element for the very first time, which means that we have sort of like a childlike introduction to the primary themes of that element, right? Fire is about passion. Earth is about stability and grounding, our preferences. Gemini is about our ideas, our ways of connecting socially. And Cancer is about our sensitivities, our emotions, our intuitions. So Cancer is very tender. It's very protective. It's very nostalgic. And it is no doubt very intuitive, right? Cancer is so deeply connected to memory and safety and family and belonging. We're in Gemini season now, and we've been talking about how Gemini energy is like very much like preschool socialization of like figuring out what is or isn't appropriate to say and do. And Cancer is when we come home from our day at preschool and we're like, I just want to be held and babied by my mama. Like, where's my home? Where am I safe? Where can I just like relax and be myself and get fed and nurtured and get my diaper changed, right? Ultimately, any energy into Cancer is really about finding a homecoming for yourself. And because Mercury, communication, is moving into Cancer, we are going to find that our conversations are becoming a little more heartfelt, maybe a little more vulnerable, maybe also a little more prickly, because we don't have the same sort of like edgy, controversial humor that we did when Mercury was just in Gemini, right? Now we need to make sure that people know whether or not we're joking, because we don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, and we also don't want our feelings to be hurt, right? We don't want this thrown in our face and suddenly we're like, why would you say that? Mercury in Cancer. Now, you may notice yourself feeling things very deeply this week. Maybe you suddenly want to reconnect with someone. An old memory just continues to pop up in your psyche. Maybe you're craving a sort of softness or a home or a comfort or a familiarity, maybe a little summer gazpacho, okay? Mercury in Cancer is a reminder that, yeah, the facts are important, but what about those feelings? What about how you actually are metabolizing something? Logic is important, data is important, yes, we know. But if you feel disconnected from your emotional truth, if you feel like you are ignoring how you are responding to said data and information, baby, what's the point? We've lost the entire plot then. Then on Wednesday, Mercury, newly in Cancer, immediately squares Neptune in Aries. And Neptune is our celestial fog machine, okay? Neptune is intuition and it's spirituality and it's dreams and it's fantasy and it's imagination. Very confusing. Yes, it is also confusion. So maybe we are going to be dealing with some mixed signals midweek, maybe a little projection, maybe a little delusion. Is it the delulu that we like, or is it the delulu that stresses us out? It's giving somebody texting you K. Yes, just the letter K in response to what you wrote them. And, suddenly you're there and you're like, what the fuck does that mean? And like, what does that mean? How dare they? Anyone who's out there sending the letter K, stop it. Stop doing that. You are confusing all of us. We don't know what that means. We can't read between the lines. It is a single letter. Okay? So this week, don't send the letter K to anyone, but if you get one back, try to catch your breath and differentiate the intuition from the anxiety. There is a big difference between these two. And just as a reminder of how I differentiate them, which has been proven to be very helpful for me and for a lot of other people, intuition is a whisper. Anxiety is a siren. So if you're finding something is getting louder and crazier and more unhinged, and it's like mounting and building and growing, escalating in the drama, that is not intuition. That's anxiety. And if you are having anxiety, you don't need to judge it, right? But you do need to know the difference so that you aren't feeling like that is trying to communicate something dire to you. Your intuition would never speak to you that way. It would never text you just the letter K in response. Okay, my friends, as always, here is your journal prompt for the week ahead. What has changed in my life since January? What has stayed the same? And how can I have even more agency in my life as I continue on this journey? All right, friends, let's turn to the T. Not that T, this T. T for tarot. We can spell. We know the letters. We know the alphabet. Hello. Yes, we do. Okay, so last week we pulled the Page of Swords. So let's see, which was so tank, so perfect. It's Gemini energy, hot and heavy, but we have some Mercury moving into Cancer stuff going on this week. We're entering a brand new month. Will this tarot card give us some insight into the next 4 weeks, into the month ahead? Yes, it will. So let us see what we need to know for our weekly brew and for June at large. Oh, thank God. Finally. Hello. I haven't seen this beautiful, stunning diva in ages. It's the Empress. Yes, it is. Ladies and gentlemen, I present you with the Empress. Oh my gosh, what a relief. Okay, so the Empress, wow. When we say diva, we mean diva. The Empress is associated with Venusian energy at large. The Empress is about us owning and feeling settled and anchored in our divine feminine. I'm not very keen on the divine feminine, divine masculine binary, because we have all of these energies within us. But this one is a highlight for that energy that we all have in us, regardless of your gender expression. It's about the feelings and the essence of being truly connected to whatever your inner goddess means to you, right? It's about understanding that your creativity and artistic reserves are coming from your ability to feel safe and secure and stable in the beautiful, bountiful world that you are creating through your own artistry, through your own self-expression, by your own design, really. This card is also deeply associated with fertility, both being pregnant and making babies, getting pregnant, and also the fertile projects that we are bringing into the world, right? How we are making something out of nothing. So to me, coming into this month of June, the JUNE-gle, knowing that we have Mercury in Cancer, knowing that we are setting ourselves up this week for what is going to be a very powerful and intense month and summer ahead with lots and lots of big astrology coming up, the Act 2 of 2026. This is confirmation, validation, proof that we are exactly where we need to be, that we can trust what we are creating, that we can trust the process, our progress, wherever we are in that timeline, and that we can feel fabulous and gorgeous and wear crowns of stars and know that we are divinely guided and we're protected and safe and we deserve to have nice things. I'm sorry I did that to her. We deserve to have nice things and you're beautiful. That's us. Coming up next, we are not just talking about what to expect for the week ahead. We are getting ready for the whole month, honey. So stay tuned for your personalized horoscope for the week ahead and the next couple of weeks, a little sneak peek into June right after this quick break. Welcome back. It's time for your personalized horoscopes, which you need to know because we're talking not just about the week ahead, but we also are taking a little sip for the whole month, honey. This is a brew for the month of June. And remember, you should always listen for both your sun and your rising sign because together these are going to tell a more complete story about where the themes are going to be showing up for you. All right, let's go, ghouls. Hello, Aries, honey. Okay, babe. June is really coming in hot. Not just because it's summer here in the Northern Hemi, but for you, this week is a little knock, knock, a little rat-a-tat-tat. Hello, who's there? Oh, it's just the portal, the abyss, the vortex. Aries, it's coming for you. Whether or not you feel prepared, by now it should be crystal clear that things are really happening. Things are really changing in your life. And this week with Mercury, the planet of communication, entering Cancer, which is a fellow cardinal sign, you should get ready for some very important conversations around your home, around your family, around what it means for you to build the life that is going to support you. That's tea, okay? Aries, maybe you are craving some structure. Maybe you are craving some stability. Maybe you just want to put your head on a pillow and have somebody pet your beautiful little hair while you fall asleep. It's not a crime. No, it's not. Because even though you are a fast and furious baby, you are still a baby. And you are still a baby that goes all day long. And then you need a place where you can really just like crash so that you can reboot and do it all again the next day. And maybe you have been feeling like there really isn't a solid place for you to just let loose and let your hair down and let your head down and relax, right? You might be feeling like instead of being able to relax your nervous system and find calm and safety and security, like you're being judged. Ooh, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, people are looking at you and making judgment calls about what you're doing, how you're spending your time, what's happening in your life, what isn't happening in your life. Aries, we don't love to see that. And the feelings that you're having around it are valid. So midweek, I just want you to be mindful of the fact that while these feelings and sensations are totally right on, you may feel more and more inclined to have a big old Aries style crash out, okay? If somebody responds to you with a weird text, like the letter K, there is no need to call 911, okay? There is no need to catastrophize. Let people clarify themselves before you jump to conclusions and throw them straight in jail. And if something needs to be said, you can say it. Let it be said. Aries, it's okay if things need to get uncomfortable before they get better because that's just life, but maybe try to just bring the volume down a decibel or two. But now, of course, I have bigger tea for you, hotter tea, the whole fucking kettle. And it's that June is going to mark a major turning point in your story, honey. You are entering a brand new season that is going to demand that you take everything that you have been working on very seriously, because we are going to see some huge shifts in the next couple of weeks, namely the fact that Chiron, the wounded healer, which has been in your sign since 2019, is moving into Taurus, which means it's moving out of your sign, ending a cycle for you. And then Jupiter, the planet of luck and fortune, is moving into Leo, a like-minded fire sign. So that's also starting a new chapter around passion for you. So this combo platter is going to really make a big difference in how you are experiencing your day-to-day. You are going to be even more fired up than normal, which is a little scary, but it's an optimal combination, okay? So this week, just remember, you're setting the table, okay? Make sure you have a knife and a fork and a little spoon, because by the time the month is over, there's not even going to be a single crumb left on said table, okay? You know what I mean. Hello, Taurus. Good morning. It is now June. So let's talk about this first week of the new month. And maybe we'll have some tea on what to expect as we go deeper into this portal that we call the JUNE-gle. Okay. At the very top of the week, Mercury, which is the planet of communication, is moving into Cancer. So get ready for conversations and some breaking news and texts and email and invitations and maybe even some random little synchronicities popping up and helping you connect the dots, except are they synchronicities? Never. Because you know what we say. We say tank, which means there are no coincidences. And now that you know what these puzzle pieces are doing, you can actually start to put them together and see the bigger picture. You're like, oh my God, I've been looking at this all wrong, but now I get it and I'm a genius. And what's really interesting, Taurus, is that this week is going to have this very unique effect on your chart. You're going to feel different this week than basically all of the other signs are. Because while Mercury moving into Cancer is going to, basically force a lot of people into their shells, you are actually going to feel like you want to poke your head out and maybe speak up a little bit. You're going to feel increasingly confident and comfortable saying what is on your mind. Because really, Taurus, you're kind of curious. You want to know what's going on. You want to know who's on your side. You want to know who you can trust. And over the next few days, you're going to find yourself opening up a little more and then a little more and a little more, because if anything, you want to know who is actually going to be sharing the pivotal information with you that will help you get to the next level. Now, of course, as we enter into the month of June, let's talk about what some of the bigger themes are coming up. It's major, Taurus, because Chiron, the wounded healer, is preparing to move into your sign for the first time since the 1970s, which means that you are entering a profound healing chapter around identity and confidence and self-worth. It's big rebirth energy, okay? Big, huge, brand new emotional arcs that are going to take you all the way until 2034. So this is really major. And then at the same time, Jupiter, the planet of luck and fortune and expansion, is going to be moving into Leo, which is a fixed sign. So this is really going to be blessing up your foundations, your home, your family, your stability, basically the root of your existence. So if things have felt off, take a breath, because maybe it's just that you have needed to get to this moment for things to actually start unlocking. You know what you want, Taurus. You know what you need. You know what you have to say. So this week, start saying it, okay? I mean, what's the worst that can happen? You find out that someone that you thought was your friend is actually shitty. I mean, that is tea, but also really important to know. You needed to know that. And now that you know, you can move forward accordingly. Hi there, Gemini. Okay, so your birthday season rages on, but now the energy starts shifting from who am I to, okay, this is who I am, cool, but when am I actually going to be acknowledged for who I am? When am I going to get my damn flowers? Yes, Gemini, we are not talking about birthday cake anymore. We are talking about you being served a gorgeous bouquet simply for being who you are. We are talking about your Grammy. We are talking about that Tony. We are talking about Academy Awards here. You do deserve it. And this week, it is time to figure out how we are going to get you nominated, okay? How are we going to put this all together? Mercury, your planetary ruler, is moving out of your sign and yeeting into Cancer, and the energy is going to shift to your resources. Gemini, you deserve to be paid. You deserve to get your bag. Revolutionary concept, but this week has you stop undervaluing yourself and start actually standing up for what you deserve, advocating for yourself, Gemini. Yes, you are not a joke, and you do not need to be treated like one anymore. Yeah, you're funny, but you're not a clown. You're not funny like that. You are funny like you have great comedic timing and you are extremely witty and well-spoken. But if you feel like you are being treated like a joke yourself, or even worse, maybe you're feeling like ignored and people are not paying attention to you, that is not funny. That is tea. It is scalding hot, and we are going to get burned if we don't let it cool off, okay? Whew! But don't worry, honey, because also this week, Saturn, which is Le Master Builder, is going to be linking up with the sun in your sign. So don't be surprised if you feel ready and prepared to commit to something significant, even if people have no idea what you are doing, okay? I know that you are not always keen on committing, like broadly speaking, but what if I told you that locking in right now could positively impact you for weeks, nary months to come? What if I told you that maybe the shift in the trajectory that you have been waiting for is actually you saying, you know what, I'll give it a try? Yes, baby. Don't be afraid to say yes. You are allowed to change your mind after, but right now you should walk through the portal, right? Walk through the door that is being held open for you because you don't know where it's going to lead. June is all about setting things up. You are really entering one of the most exciting periods for visibility and confidence and momentum. Frankly, one of the most exciting eras that you've had in years. And Jupiter moving into Leo later this month is going to put the wind back in your sails, honey. Opportunities are really going to be multiplying. Those doors are going to be leading to another open door and another open door and another open door. It's giving portal. So Gemini, keep talking, keep pitching, keep introducing yourself as someone who deserves to live a beautiful life and be paid for it, because you do. Honey, you do. Hello, Cancer. Ding, 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 ding. It's not officially your birthday season. That obviously kicks off with summer solstice, which is so fabulous. But Mercury, which is the planet of communication, is moving into your sign this week, which means that we are going to be feeling that energetic shift into your section of the sky. You're going to be feeling a little more like yourself, Cancer. The past few weeks have been weird, to say the absolute least. And while the weirdness isn't totally over yet, sorry, at least now you're starting to find the words that empower you to talk about it. I mean, what the fuck has been going on? Hello? Can anyone acknowledge how much of a shit show things have been? I can. They have been. And you are not wrong in feeling that way. But the truth is that you also need to start calling it out. Because if things have been so very weird that it has been hard for you to get anything done, you are actually doing yourself a disservice by not saying it and pretending like everything is normal. People are going to be paying attention to what you say this week, and you are going to be infused with the courage to actually kick off some conversations that you have been circling for a while. It's giving elephant in the room, but over the next few days, you're going to be like, hi, there's an elephant in the room. It's Dumbo. We see you and your adorable big floppy ears. You're so cute. Come over here. Let's have tea. And Cancer, that's a good thing, because you're realizing that if you don't advocate for yourself and call out the elephant in the room, then ultimately other people are going to take advantage of the fact that you are not saying what isn't working, and they're going to start writing that narrative for you. And honey, we cannot have that. But don't panic, because we have the situation under control. The ball is in your court, and now you know what to do. And as for the rest of the month, aka, what to expect in June, what does it mean for you? Well, as you know, this is also the beginning of your birthday season. We love to see it. J'adore. And for the past 12 months, Jupiter has been cruising through your sign. And in these very final weeks of Jupiter, the planet of expansion in Cancer, you are going to start synthesizing everything that you have learned. You are going to start putting all the pieces together and be like, oh my God, yeah, this is why I am the way I am now. And this could look like you entering a new relationship, finally, feeling like you have finally reached that moment in the journey. It could look like you having the courage to walk away from one that has run its course. It could look like starting a new job or quitting a shitty one. We'll find out what happens over the next few weeks, but for now, just know that speaking up for yourself is the first step. And that is exactly what you better be doing this week, what you better be focusing on. And if you do that, you're going to be set for an amazing birthday season ahead. Hi there, Leo. Do you know what marinara is? It's a sauce. So I was looking up the etymology of marinara because why wouldn't I be? I actually thought the root of it was marinate, but it's not. The root of marinara comes from marinero, which is a mariner, aka a sailor. Okay? Why am I telling you this? Well, number one, I'm really craving Italian food. Number two, I was going to tell you that you needed to marinate, aka marinara, this week. But now that I know that marinara is actually about being a sailor, it's still tank because there are no coincidences, because the energy of this week is also about sailing through the high seas of your emotional tides. Right? It's navigating your watery emotional landscape. So, there we are, Leo. Astrology is amazing. But for real, this week is going to be very reflective and very watery and sensitive for you. Mercury is moving into Cancer, and that is going to bring up some old emotions and old memories and old situations, or maybe you are going to be forced to have some conversations that you thought were over and resolved. And then suddenly Mercury, which is, communication, is in your face in the most private and sensitive area of your chart. And all of that feeling and sensitivity and fragility around topics that you really felt like you had the upper hand on are crashing down, waves crashing at the shoreline. And you're like, oh my gosh, I actually am still really, really hurt by this, and I am not over it. And believe it or not, this has been getting in my way and holding me back. And how am I going to have a great hot girl summer if I don't face this right now? That's what you need to ask yourself. Marinara, okay? Marinara. While all of that is really intense and emotional, and it is, right? Basically, the TLDR is that you are going to be feeling more intuitive and sensitive and needing to face some conversations that you did not want to have over the next few days. I also want to serve you some very hot tea because you are a hottie, you are a hottie sailor. And by the end of this month, Jupiter, the planet of expansion and fortune and abundance, ever heard of it, is going to be moving into your sign. Yes, diva. Jupiter is moving into Leo, and that only happens once every 12 years. So the last time that Jupiter was in your sign in Leo was from 2014 to 2015. So think about what was going on in your life then, honey, because through that, you're going to get a little intel on what this summer and this next year ahead is going to be all about. And if that was a difficult time in your life, that's okay. What did you need to know then that would have helped you out? Give that wisdom to yourself right now. And if that was an amazing time in your life, well, honey, lock in because we are getting back on that horse and it's going to be better than ever. So don't worry about this week, okay? If it feels heavy and intense, if you feel like you are stuck, if you feel like you are just continuing to have these like heavy conversations and thoughts that are not very Leo-esque of you, right? That just are making you feel like you are in a stress spiral. Keep your eyes on the prize, baby. You are about to have one of the most important glow-ups of your entire life in just a couple of weeks, and that's worth waiting for. Hello, Virgo, my little productivity princesses and super sweet kings and just overall stunning angel babies. First of all, June 1st, starting on a Monday, getting your calendar right and tight for the beginning of the new month. Okay, go off 2026. We love to see it. If that is not a good omen, then honey, I do not know what is. So this week, the beginning of this brand new month, we are kicking off with your social world opening up in some very interesting and very unexpected ways. Mercury, your planetary ruler, is moving into Cancer, and this is lighting up the area of your life that has to do not just with your immediate network, but also with the network that you want to tap into. Okay? This has to do with community. This has to do with collaborations. This has to do with invitations. This has to do with chance meetings. This has to do with finding your people. And all of this starts picking up at the beginning of the week. You may reconnect with someone really unexpectedly or realize that the people that are surrounding you are shaping your future more than you even thought. And this is cool because now, Virgo, you are stepping into this very philosophical expression of your identity. You're like, okay, cool. I know what I want to accomplish. I know what I want to achieve. And how can I connect with people who support those visions? And how can I support their visions? And how can I actually exist in a world as a social being rather than just feeling like an isolated hermit? Virgo, you don't have to feel that way anymore. Broadly speaking, June is going to start to shift your trajectory in very major ways. Career momentum is going to be building behind the scenes. There is healing around confidence and visibility that is just about to take root because Chiron, the wounded healer, is going to be moving into Taurus, a like-minded earth sign, and you are going to start to understand that your creative expression is like a really beautiful and sacred thing. And then by the end of the month, you're going to realize that something that you have been secretly hoping for is actually starting to happen. It's starting to materialize. And all of that wishing and hoping and praying, it's working. And Virgo, you are actually stepping into a chapter that is much more exciting, much bigger, much more magical than the one that you are emerging from. And baby, it's about damn time. Hello, Libra darling. This week we get a little bit of pressure. Warm it up. Na, 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 na. Nah, push us down, nah, 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 prime our palate. Okay, Libra, don't worry, because the pressure that you are going to be feeling this week inevitably is not a punishment. You're not in trouble. You have done nothing wrong. Pressure, in fact, makes diamonds. You know this. And with the planet of communication moving into Cancer, which is a cardinal sign, the cardinal signs are those that occur at the beginning of season. So it's Aries, it's Cancer, it's your sign Libra, it's Capricorn. There is going to be some very, very intense, stunning, beautiful energy for manifesting. But in order to work with this manifesting energy, you are going to realize that some things need to change. There always needs to be pressure before we can start something new. Why would we start anything new if we didn't feel the pressure? You know what I mean? So with Mercury shifting into Cancer, people are going to start paying attention to what you're doing and what you're saying and how you're thinking. And maybe they're going to be expecting a little more from you, Libra, and that's okay. You might notice that certain work conversations get a little intense, get a little heated. Maybe a boss or a collaborator or a supervisor needs you to answer something and it catches you off guard a little bit and you're like, whoa, I wasn't ready for that and I don't feel comfortable answering that. Or maybe, honey, you realize that you are the captain now and that you need to step into that voice of authority because you're actually the only one who knows what should be happening next. And we love this boss era for you, Libra. It's très chic. The tricky bit comes midweek when your emotions and your assumptions get a little tangled together. If someone is being vague or weird or hard to read, resist the urge to try to over-accommodate and meet them where they are. They shouldn't be there in the first place, and you shouldn't go over there either. Let them go through whatever they're going through and trust that you're going to get more insight down the line. Stay steady in where you are. Also, friendly reminder that, believe it or not, you are allowed to disappoint people. Obviously, it's not ideal. Nobody wants to. But if you do, it doesn't make you a bad person. everyone is responsible for their own lives. So as long as you are being honest and living yours with integrity, people are going to have to deal with whatever that means, even if they feel a little bit disappointed by you not being able to make the 5th happy hour in a row. Oh, but also keep in mind that later this month, Jupiter is moving into Leo, and that is a very exciting and vibey energy shift for you, okay? It's about networking. It's about collaboration. It's about hopes and dreams and expansion. And when Jupiter posts up in Leo, it's going to be there for a whole year. So we have plenty of time to figure out who you actually want in your inner circle, right? This week, you're clarifying what kind of people are actually able to meet you where you are today. And that's vital information, okay? That's the 411 that you need. That's the 411 before it becomes a 911. You know what I mean? So don't be afraid to ruffle a few feathers, because I promise no one is going to get hurt, and I promise you're going to get a lot of information from their reactions to whatever you do. Hi, Scorpio. Okay, so this week, let's zoom out, okay? Way out, way out, all right? Mercury is moving into Cancer, and suddenly you're feeling restless, you're feeling curious, you're feeling a little, spiritually itchy. You want to ask questions. You want to push back. You want to know what's really going on. Hey, inquiring minds want to know, baby. And while you are stepping into that philosopher era, which you are, there are going to be people who are willing to meet you there. And there are going to be people who are like, Scorpio, what are you talking about? What are you doing? What is this all about? And yes, honey, this means that you are going to feel increasingly critical of the world around you, of everything that is going on, including the people that are closest to you. Scorpio, obviously, in these end times of late stage capitalism, there is a lot that we should all be skeptical of. And while it's very important to maintain that contrarian part of you, that criticality, we want it active and alive and alert, I do want you to keep in mind that some of this appropriate wariness may end up shifting into judgment, and you may end up hurting some people's feelings if you're not careful. We have Mercury squaring Neptune, and this could actually make you a little paranoid, right? Like a little weirded out by the world. And suddenly you're looking at your best friends, your colleagues or your supervisors or your classmates, and you're like, ew, why are you doing things like that? Why are you this way? And again, if you are in a moment where you are being very hypercritical and hyper aware of the systems and how everyone is a cog in the machine and how we are living in this simulation, like, fine, I get it. That's all good. But don't make people feel bad for living the life that they're living, because A, it's not nice, and B, you may end up burning some bridges that you are going to need later on. And it's tank. There are no coincidences, because also in June, Chiron, the wounded healer, is shifting into Taurus, which is your opposite sign, for the first time since the 1970s. So that's major, and potentially, depending on how old you are, also unprecedented, right? There is going to be a lot of meaningful healing infused into your relationships, because that's where Taurus activates your chart. And then also this month, Jupiter, the planet of expansion, is moving into Leo, and that is going to be activating one of the biggest areas of your life around career and visibility and recognition and legacy. And Jupiter hasn't been in Leo in over a decade. It hasn't been there since 2014. So all of this awareness about your relationships and what you want to achieve and what you want to create, like, obviously you are becoming more aware of what you support and what you do not support. And that is amazing and incredibly significant, right? It's all coming together like a sexy little jigsaw puzzle. But since you don't know the whole story just yet, just try not to piss off the wrong people. Try to not make people feel bad for making the choices they are making. Just stay in your own lane. And if worse comes to worse, make a crash out rant video on TikTok. Capiche? Hello, Sagittarius. Sagittarius, honey. Okay, baby, this week we are going deep. It's a deep steep. I know. You're like, uh-oh, what does that mean? Well, Mercury, the planet of communication, is moving into Cancer, and it's saying, hello, Sagittarius. We have feelings to process. We have trust issues that we need to investigate. We have emotional entanglements we need to unpack. Okay, let's fucking go. No choice here, right? We got to do it. We got to get in there. So coming into this week, you are suddenly going to start thinking a lot more about intimacy and vulnerability, and even some old ass dusty stories that you have been desperately trying to move past. Maybe somebody owes you money, Sag, or maybe someone owes you an apology, or maybe you're like, wait, I'm not over that yet. And that's okay, because this week you can be the ghost that comes and knocking on your ex's door and demands some accountability. You are definitely allowed to do that, so long as you know that it's a haunting and not a resurrection, okay? You know what I mean? Because midweek, Mercury squares Neptune, and suddenly you're like romanticizing a situation that definitely does not need your googly eyes. If you get what you were looking for, whether that be money or an apology or some sort of acknowledgement about what you have gone through, good, great, you got it. Now let's keep on moving forward. Let's not linger in the past. You know how that story ends. You've been there. You've done that. You know where the limits were. You know what went wrong previously. So why would we do it all over again? We don't. We don't need to, and we won't do it. And this is really when you're going to need to keep your head above water, Sagittarius, and keep on doggy paddling all the way to the other side, because you cannot get dragged under. You cannot get dragged down by this murky, spooky, watery energy, okay? We have things we got to do. The big pour is that, yes, while this week is going to be a little weird for you, June, broadly, is when 2026 starts getting good for you, okay? Jupiter, your planetary ruler, is going to be moving into a fellow fire sign, Leo, later this month, and that is going to be incredibly exciting for you. I am talking about you finally having some new ideas, you finally having some new experiences, some new opportunities. Like, Sag, hello, this is what you've been waiting for. So keep that in mind as you doggy paddle through the week ahead. So you don't get too hyper-focused on all of this, like this will pass, right? This old stuff is old for a reason. Keep directing your gaze forward towards the future, because that's a much better place to be. Hello, Capricorn baby. This week is giving relationships, okay? It's giving couples therapy. It's giving group therapy. It's giving who are you actually, because who you actually are is really just how you treat other people. That's tea, okay? So what you need to know is that Mercury, which is the planet of communication, is moving into Cancer, your opposite sign, and suddenly you are uncomfortably aware of the fact that maybe, I hate to say it, but your needs are not top priority right now. What? In the days ahead, you are going to have to put whatever is going on in your life on hold so that you can actually tend to others' thoughts and feelings and needs and expectations, and yes, even their opinions that you don't necessarily agree with. I know, this is scandalous, right? How are you going to handle it when someone says something that you genuinely don't support, but you are trying to be a supportive friend or a supportive partner or a supportive colleague? It's a tough thing to navigate, Capricorn, but that's what we have to figure out right now. But I want you to be extra careful, especially midweek, because communication is going to get a little slippery. And that means that you need to take a little more time to clarify a situation or a conversation, especially if it feels a bit odd to you, okay? If someone says something that rubs you the wrong way, ask them what they mean before you assume you know. And I know you might be very disturbed by whatever that is, right? Like you're like, whoa, what did you just say to me? But honey, sometimes people are just confused and they need a little help. And they need a little hand-holding to get to what is actually on their mind. I mean, what can I say? We can't all be Capricorns. This week, you have to use your Capricorn sensibility to help others. And that is what it's all about. Now, keep in mind that Chiron, which is the wounded healer, is going to be moving into Taurus at the end of the month. It's been in Aries since 2019, so it's been really digging its heels into your foundation and your sense of safety and security, family dynamics. Lots and lots of healing has been happening around what I describe as your villain origin story, healing and headaches. But that healing journey is transitioning into healing around your creativity and into your confidence. And it's going to feel, well, ultimately very inspiring. And as we talked about last week, you are psychic, right? And now let's add to it, right? Let's layer it up. Capricorn, you're also an artist. You are a psychic artist. So what does it feel like to turn some of those more imaginative areas of your life into things that you prioritize rather than just afterthoughts? Well, over the next few weeks, we are absolutely going to find out. And that is tea. Hello, Aquarius. Okay, baby, we need to discuss the basics this week, okay? Les fundamentals, les logistics, les systems. I know, very riveting, right? But hold on, don't turn it off yet, because Mercury moving into Cancer is actually really going to help you figure out how you can create stability and structure in your day-to-day life because, yes, things have been chaotic. They have. And this week, we are finally going to pass you a clipboard and give you a pen so that you can get organized, that you can make a to-do list. Wait, what's a to-do list? Good question, Aquarius. It's all of the things that you have in your head piling up, getting very confusing, out of your head and onto a piece of paper so that you can tackle them one by one with a little check mark. Stunning, right? Yes, honey, you really are going to need a place, whether it be in your notes app or on a clipboard or it's a whiteboard, to keep track of everything because things are really getting busy for you right now. You are going to look at your calendar and be like, oh my goodness, this really is daunting. And while I know that a big part of you wants to just disappear into a bizarre niche interest and avoid adulthood altogether, unfortunately this week, it's like, you can't do that. You got to get your systems together because future you really wants to thrive. And ultimately, while we are taking care of our inner child, we also need to be taking care of our future self. And we definitely want you to get prepped and ready because June, broadly, is going to be a major and life-changing month for you. Chiron is moving into Taurus. Jupiter is moving into Leo. Why are these two things major? Well, Taurus is a fixed sign. Leo is a fixed sign. It's also your opposite sign. And you, Aquarius, are a fixed sign. So Chiron's moving into a fixed sign. Jupiter's moving into a fixed sign. And you are about to lock in to energy around both your foundations and your relationships. And you are going to be figuring out how all of this impacts your identity. And this is all going to be creating a very important, very significant aspect pattern in your chart called a T-square, which is incredibly powerful for breakthroughs and for manifestation. And the question is, Aquarius, how will your root, your core, support your career? And how will the most important dynamics in your life, the most important relationships, illuminate your confidence and your sense of self? This is massive, Aquarius. This is going to be a massive month of growth and change. So if you're not ready yet, you better get ready and you better make a to-do list because there is going to be a lot of stuff that is coming at you, being thrown at you, being yeeted at you. And you're going to need a place to make sure that you can successfully and properly process all of these big existential and very practical changes. Hello, Pisces. Okay, I love when I have a little treat for Pisces because I know that our Pisces friends have to wait through the whole zodiac to get to their sign. So when I finally get to Pisces and I have some nice news to deliver, it really delights me. You know how we pulled the Empress for this week? Honey, it's for you. I am very delighted to share with you that June looks good on you. It's giving maturity. It's giving moisture. It's giving progress. It's giving confidence. It's giving feeling good in your own skin, finally. Mercury is moving into Cancer, a fellow water sign, and that means that for you, things get a little flowy again. Creatively, emotionally, romantically, you are feeling inspired, Pisces. You're feeling more open, more connected to pleasure, to joy, to beauty, to flirtation, to being alive. And honey, you don't need to be suspicious of this, okay? You don't need to be wary of your happiness. Pisces, I know that you are so in survival mode that when something feels good, you could be like, wait, is this a trap? Is this a trick? Am I being punked? Circa 2007 by Ashton Kutcher. Also, that show, tea. It's like the tea that keeps on spilling all of these years later. Anyway, this is not punked. This isn't 2007. And you are allowed to have fun. So get it, babe. Go outside. Wear something fabulous. Text your crush. Go on a date. Fall back in love with your partner. Fall back in love with yourself. Romanticize your whole damn life because you can and you should. Now, obviously, Pisces, there comes a time in every fishy's life when the water also starts to get a little hazy, okay? And for you, that is midweek when Mercury squares Neptune, Neptune being your planetary ruler, and you're like, wait, am I in love with them? Should I leave my long-term relationship for this stranger I met on the internet? Or maybe it's going to manifest more as like, oh, should I actually quit my job and pursue this odd and extremely niche career path full-time? Well, easy does it, little guppy. Let's not make any drastic moves just yet because, well, we need time to figure out if you can actually trust this and what is actually going on. And just because you're feeling good doesn't mean that what is making you feel good this week is actually going to sustain you for months and years and decades to come. Oops. But the truth is that this month of June, is really designed to help you understand what it's going to look like to build a life that supports this next version of yourself that's bigger and bolder and more beautiful than ever before. Jupiter is moving into Leo later this month, and you have a very special connection to Jupiter because in traditional astrology, it's your planetary ruler. And Jupiter into Leo is going to help you understand your energetics even more than you already do now. This is major, Pisces, because in order to build the life that you want, you need to know what it's going to actually feel like to put one foot in front of the other and get the damn thing done. You are learning that discipline and inspiration can coexist. I know. Shocking. This is going to be a very interesting summer, Pisces, and it starts this week. So let's get ready for a lot of change and also some very fabulous outfits. And that, my beauties, is all for this episode. What did you think? What did you love? Are you excited about this week? Are you excited about the month ahead? Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think. And be sure to join me on Wednesday for our tea party. And then next Monday, I'll be back, of course, with more horoscopes. And we just keep going again and again and again. That's AstroloTea. That's the way. Make sure you tune in every single Monday and every single Wednesday for all new episodes. And don't forget to rate 5 stars, review, follow, subscribe, so you never, ever, ever miss a pour. See you next time.